the shopping experience starts with a browse on the desktop, and then it'll end up with price comparison on the rack in a store, and then the whole idea is that at some point maybe all I want to do is pick up the product, buy it from my device, and walk out the door without a line. Is that how you would describe this multi-channel thing?
Yeah, it's really kind of combining all these methods to buy something, right? And it's been around for a while, although it's getting a little more press recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've always had that retail experience, then you've had that online e-commerce experience. And certainly in some cases they've blended, but at the end of the day it was two numbers. What's interesting is you start to bring mobile commerce in, and we'll define mobile commerce as you buying something on your phone. It's basically the e-commerce experience on a small device.
It is.
But what's happening is it's happening in the store. So why wouldn't I walk out with the product, right? So we haven't seen a lot of consumer self-service mobile commerce yet, but we are seeing sort of merchant staff in aisle checkout buying, people experimenting with those things. And basically, as they'll talk about the disconnected countertop. You look at the Apple Store model, which is a little bit niche, right? That's a specialty product, high value. It's going to be harder for me to walk into a Walmart with a carriage full of stuff and basically walk out with the carriage as someone has checked me out at the door. But it's certainly feasible. And look at if I go in and get the TV at Walmart, why do I need to do anything but just pass one person and pay?
Right. It's funny because based on the way that you pay at an Apple store is that it goes against all of the science and the psychology of shopping in a store, right? Which is there's a reason why a grocery store is laid out the way a grocery store is laid out, right? And most people turn right, and it's and then you go around a loop, and then there's impulse buys at the cash register, right? There's the pop and chocolate bars and gums and all those kind of things, and now they've gone upmarket a little bit with Mach 3 razors for $25 right at the cash. So I think that by enabling payments anywhere, I think that there's a lot of fear as a result of that, simply because these industries have grown on science based on getting somebody to the cash register, right? Now you're talking about taking the cash registers out, and what happens to the retail industry as a result of mobile payment technologies.
Yeah, and that's one of the really interesting balances that we're seeing happen, right? So literally 3 years ago, you looked at Black Friday. It started becoming a hotbed 4 or 5 years ago, if you will. And they built all this stanchioning, just ropes for the counters and the lines and all of that because they had to manage the lines. And now you walk into a Best Buy and what do you see? You see 3 new aisles of basically things to go through as you go to the checkout counter. And it's all temporary because they're going to move it all back into the store later. So merchants can certainly see an aspect where they might lose that opportunity in revenue. But what's interesting is now that they're considering is when people are waiting in line, which we're losing an appetite for. I might just stay home and buy it online, which is concerning because I'm probably going to price shop from the comfort of my home. And certainly people walk into the store today and price shop on their phone. So that's a consideration. But now that people are sitting in a long line at the store, even though all these small elements are up on the counters and it's candy bars and in some cases it's video games and DVDs, but that's giving me an opportunity to now do something else on my phone because you can be sure I'm going to look straight down and then maybe I'm going to take a second look at that product in my hand and use one of those great applications that's going to shop locally in the area. So, I think it's up to the merchants to really think hard about improving the experience, and that includes not just the line, but also that in-aisle experience, right? If you can't provide me as a merchant an opportunity to get better shopping experience, even while I'm looking at a product, I might be using one of those third-party apps to do it. And now you can be sure that if a third-party app is helping me shop, there's going to be some incentives from other retailers to try to pull me out of the store. And that might come in the form of a discount or things like that. So a lot of interesting challenges they have as much as the opportunities around.
Yeah, and maybe the catalyst is that first purchase, like location-based marketing. When you're in the store, I think that there's a huge opportunity that if you and I have a relationship already, and I'm having those second thoughts, is that you should be very proactive with me while I'm standing in line, or give me some incentive so I don't stand in line. Because you're right, the impact is detrimental to those organizations. But while you're in the store, how about fighting for my business? Well, just because I'm in there doesn't mean you've won, right? And I think that's the big lesson that a lot are learning.
Absolutely, absolutely.